Hi, I am Vinicius and we will be using the empty room scene located in the RPGlite starter kit folder to teach you how to set up your scene. All the links mentioned during this tutorial will be available in the description. To set up your scene, start by adding an inventory manager prefab from the prefabs folder. This is needed so that you can manage the RPGlite system and also for some customization purposes. So next, you also need the player inventory and the shop inventory. You can do so by getting the canvas here and dropping it all at once. You can also, if you wish, get the inventory in the shop individually to your existing canvas. Just make sure that you have an existing event system like the one in this example. If you want to do so, you can get the individual prefabs here in inventory and shop. Of course, before playing, you also need the player character. To do so, it's very simple. Just drop the player prefab wherever you want, and it's done. You can see if everything's working by playing the game. And that's it. You can walk with the player using the WSD keys, open your inventory with I, and equip the items by clicking on them. You can also interact with the bell here by pressing E. However, as the shopkeeper isn't already here, the bell isn't actually doing anything, entering out an error. We'll fix that in a moment. To add the shopkeeper NPC, just grab the prefab from the prefabs folder and drop it wherever you wish, preferably close to the counter. So now if we play the game, you can actually see it working. There he is. Let's try buying something. You can interact with him, buy things, and use them. Cool. So if you prefer, you can use the interactive bell system and put him further away and actually link him to the bell so he comes walking when you press the bell. So just go to put him further away like we did, get the bell, and make sure all the references are present, which they are. Play the game and press the button. And here he comes. To change the content held in the player's inventory, go to the hierarchy and in the canvas, open it up, get to the inventory, and in the inventory component, you can change the items that you have. Just add or subtract items and put their corresponding ID. For example, I want another item of ID 1 and one item of ID 2. If you ever forget which IDs are of the corresponding items, you can always access the resources folder, the items JSON folder, and there you'll have all your items. So I want to have a knight's helm, which is ID number 2. So we can go there, go to the inventory, and make sure we have an item of ID number 2. Then when we play the game, there it is. 2 farmer cups, 1 knight's helm. You can also change things like the amount of money the player has. And for the shopkeeper, it's the same logic. So you just go in the hierarchy to the shop game object, go to the shop component, and add or delete items as you see fit. So maybe I want another item of ID 3, which, if you check the document, is the knight's armor. Or maybe I want him to sell an epic wizard hat, which is 5. Let's see if it sells it. Let's go to the shopkeeper. And there's our item. So for the system customization, most of it can be done through the inventory manager in the hierarchy. Just access it, go to its component in the inspector, and edit anything you want. So for example, maybe I don't want in my game to use gold as its currency. Maybe I want it to use dollars, so I can change it to a dollar symbol and for it to be green. So when I play the game, instead of gold, now I have dollars, green dollars. I can also change the rarity colors. So maybe I want the rarity number 2 to be red. I can always access the rarity here on this list, put it to red, and when I play the game, items of rarity number 2 should be written in red. The same applies to its icon. I can also change the icons. So for example, maybe I want to use this desk bell as the icon for my hats. Let's see what it does. And there it goes. Now every icon for hats is a tiny bell. To add new items, we could go to the toolbar in Unity at the top, add tools, RPGlite, item creator. So I will input the name that I want. For example, maybe I want the hat of awesomeness, and it's of type hat. So the number, which I'll explain later, which corresponds to the index of the art of the item that you wish, is 2, because it's of the art of the wizard hat. And maybe I want it to be very rare, so it's rarity 3, which is the maximum, and costs 1000 gold. So I leave this as it is, and I click create item, and it's done. I'll get a confirmation on the console, and if everything's gone right, I can go to the inventory or the shop and add an item. You can see that the item ID is 6. I will add it to the player inventory, and if I play the game, I will see the item in the inventory. There it is. When I click it, the player is using the hat. To remove any item from the list, just click on the drop-down list on the items to remove, select the item that you wish to remove, and click remove item. Just make sure that after that, it's also not in either the inventory or any shops in your game. So remove them. And that's it. To get new art into your project, import your own sprite sheets somewhere that you wish. In this example, I'm going to go to sprite, characters, which is where RPGlite stores the rest of the art that comes with it. So for this example, I have prepared this sprite sheet of a variation of the wizard hat. So I import it, and I have to make sure that some settings are correct. So make sure that the filter mode is set to point no filter if it's pixel art, and the format is RGBA 32-bit to make sure that there are no color distortions. Hit apply. For this, you also have the option to use the preset that comes with RPGlite called pixel art import settings. So just put it and it's done. So you also need to make sure that's properly sliced. So open the sprite editor. And in the window, in this case, it's already correctly sliced, but you can go to grid by cell size, for example, and my pixel art is 12 by 12. So I can press slice, accept, it's done, press apply. To make sure that everything is correct, when you expand your art file, you should see all the sliced sprites correctly in here. So to actually add this art to the game, we need to go to the art library prefab. So access it, and here we have a list of all the art in the game. You can close this if it's open. And in this case, we want to add a hat. So in the hats category, we add a new list of sprites. So it comes copying the last element. We can clear that out by selecting all with shift left click, and click delete array element. Now that it's cleared, we can lock the inspector so that this window doesn't go away when we click navigate here in the project tab. We can go to where we have our art located, in my case, sprites character, and here it is. So we can select all the individual sprites with shift click and just drag it with left click and drop it in the sprites, and it's done. So we can see by element 3 that our new art is of index 3. In other words, it's the item number 3, art number 3. So to add a new item with this art, we can go back again into our item creator and maybe purple, fantastic hat. Maybe it's So the number, we now know it's 3, it's the index, it's of type hat, and its rarity, maybe I want it to be 2. So and its price, it's going to be 250, and I want to create the item. So I click it, I get a confirmation, item ID 6. So I can now unlock the inspector, go back to my scene, and in the inventory, I want to add it to the player. So I add an item of ID 6, play the game, and here's our hat. Now, to add NPCs to our game, we will need a Walkara Villager prefab, which can be located in the prefabs folder. The reason we need this is because the NPCs need to be designated an area to freely roam about. They automatically avoid collision with obstacles, but they still need a designated area. So to do that, we drop the Walkara Villager prefab into our scene, and by accessing it on the hierarchy and going to its component, we can edit its collider to define the area that we wish our NPCs to roam about. Maybe I want them to roam about this area while avoiding the shelves and the little plants, and it's done. So now we add the NPCs. Maybe I want 2 villagers, one here, one here. We get to customize each one of them. It will show when we play the game, but maybe I want this one to use the hat of art number 2, which if we check our art library, we will see that it's the number 2 is the wizard hat, and number 3 is our new purple hat, which we added in the last section. So we can simply go to the villager. I wanted to use the wizard hat, and maybe I wanted to have the outfit number 1. And the other villager, I want to have the outfit of art number 2, and hat of art number 3, which should be our purple hat. So one last thing before we play, we need to assign them the wall carrier, which we added before. So we go to the villagers, we can select both of them at the same time, and drag and drop from the hierarchy the wall carrier villagers and drop them into the wall carrier variable inside their villager components. So if we play the game, we should see our changes done. And there they are. So if we wait a little bit, we'll probably see them walking around. And it's working. Your world is alive. You can also add armor stands to your game. So maybe you want to visualize armor inside an armor shop or any other type of clothing. So you can go again to the prefabs folder and drag and drop an armor stand prefab into your scene anywhere you wish. So you can add it and see it in real time to have another outfit. Maybe you wish it to have the peasant overalls with the wizard hat, or maybe even the new hat we've added. You can also change the pose, so maybe from the default sprite number 0, we can have the 1 or the 2, 3, 4. So this is if it was running or if it was running up, and so on. So after adding it, you can just play the game and see it being there. If you need further details, you can always check the documentation that will be available in the description. It has tutorials in the style of the video that you're watching right now if you prefer text tutorials, but it also has very deep technical details regarding all the documented code, which you can check here with the classes, the hierarchies, and commented code and anything you need, really. And cover your eyes, but it's also available in dark and light mode if you so wish. That's it. If you have already, thank you so much for buying RPGlite Starter Kit. And if you haven't, it's available in the Unit Asset Store. Also, if you ever need any support, feel free to contact us at rpglitesupport@vinbinary.xyz. Thank you.